Hey, welcome back, it's Ben again. Today we're taking a look at training our own custom objects for TensorFlow's object detection API. So if you watched my last video, last time we set up the TensorFlow object detection API to work on our computer and on the cloud using Jupyter Notebook. Today we're going to be looking at how to make our own custom data set using a custom object so we can detect any object that we want to. So let's get started with it. Okay, so right now I have what we were working on last time, which is our object detection folder, which has our models from the TensorFlow repository and all the work that we did. So we're going to put this aside for now for a little bit, and we're actually going to work on a new folder. So this is going to be our new folder. I named it masks since I'm going to make a custom object detector that detects types of face masks, because if you know anything that's going on in the world right now, that might be useful, and I just thought it'd be fun to try. So we're just going to use masks for this example. So the first thing you need to do is create a new folder. So this one I just named masks. You can name it whatever you like. I just called it masks. That's what I wanted to call it. And inside we're going to need 3 folders. So I just like to make them all at once so I don't miss them later. We're going to need data, images, and training. And so inside of images, you're also going to need 2 more folders called test and train. So in images, as you can probably tell, we're going to be putting in image files in there. And then training is where our training data is going to eventually go. And data is a bunch of other stuff that we're going to need as in data. So before we get to going to our actual images, we need to get a program called label image. So what we're going to do, actually, I'm going to go back to my label image so I can start it from the beginning with you guys. So let's get rid of that. And I'm just going to open up a command prompt. I'm just on my D drive here, but it shouldn't matter where you put it. So I have my D drive here, and what we need is we need to go to the label image repository right here. I'll link it down below. This is what it looks like. So basically we use this to annotate our images. So right here they show the example of highlighting people. So basically what this lets us do is that it tells the program, or the object detection program, hey, this image right here, this is a person, this is a dog, cat, whatever. So we can choose specific objects in the image because it cuts down on training time and it makes the model a lot more accurate. So what we need to do is that we need to install this. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to copy the URL, and I'm just going to clone it right into my D drive. So we're just going to git clone that, and we should be getting label image. That might take a second, but while we do that, I'm also going to open up Anaconda, and I'm going to use the same environment that we used last time, which I believe I named object activate. Was it object? Yeah, that's probably it. It should be fine. I can always update if we need to. Okay, so this is done. So we don't want this anymore. And so let's see. We have installation. So I'm using Windows and Anaconda, so we're going to use this one instead. So we're going to need conda install pyqt. I need qt5. Okay, qt5. Hopefully that works. Should work. Again, conda, just using conda install makes things so much easier. Pip install with pyqt did not work so well for me, but if you use conda, it makes your life a lot easier. So then we just need to run this command right here. File does not exist. Oh, I probably need to be in the correct directory. Let's go to D. Whoops. If I can do this correctly, D. And what did I call it? Label image. So now we should be able to run this. Okay. I believe that's all we need. So now we just got to say Python label image. Cannot import name entry. Oh, we might need to install XML again. Let's try that. Whoops. Pip install XML. LXML. There we go. Let's see if it's going to run. Import error. That's fantastic. Let's see if we can try to fix this. So let's just try doing pip install pyqt5. So maybe it might work a little better for us. I know I just said it the other way around, but we can see what happens. Let me pull up my note sheet again too and make sure we're all good. Okay. Come on, Conda, you can do it. Let's also open up the folder so we can see what's going on. So yeah, so you can see after we cloned it, we got label image right here. So this is the current directory that we are inside of. Looks like this is taking a little while too. So while this goes in the background, let's move on to getting our images. So since I'm just going to use face masks, I just did cloth face mask and I pulled up a bunch of images over here. So you probably don't want to have to download each image individually. That's going to take a really long time. So what I recommend using is this extension, that's the name for it, FatCun, I'm not exactly sure, but basically lets you batch download images off of Google and you can put it right into a folder, which is really helpful. So I have that installed and I opened it up, and as you can see, it just grabs all the images on the page. So we just want to download it. Let's see, do not select, ask where to save. Whoops, I need to change that real quick. Let's do that. Let's do download. So you just need to turn this off, ask where to save before each download. Otherwise, every image you ask, it's going to say save here, save here, save here. So we just want to skip that altogether. So let's do download. And then let's do download image. Okay, I probably did the wrong folder. I did not choose the folder, so that's my own fault. But I guess we'll see where these end up in a second. But you can see all down here, we're getting all these images. It's trying to save it here. Okay, did it calm down? Let's see. Show in folder. Okay. So in my downloads, it just made this new folder for cloth face mask, which is what I had searched. So we have all of our images in here that we need. Great. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of these images and I want to put it in, where is it? So we want to go back to masks and we want to go into images and we want to dump all the images into here. Or you can keep them where they were too, but we're going to be moving them around anyway, so we might as well put them in here. So they all have a bunch of funky names, but that's okay for now. Let's see. I think Conda might have froze. I just did control. Okay, let's see if that works. I don't know what's going on with that exactly. Let's see. I think I might went past it. Python label image. Cannot import name eTree. You know, you think you plan everything out correctly, and it still doesn't work. So let's see what we can do for this. Okay, sorry, I just had to fix label image real quick. Whoops, I'm messing up my command prompt here. So if your label image does not work, all you gotta do is pip uninstall. Whoops, I'm spelling it wrong. Uninstall XML, LXML. LXML creates problems sometimes because the import error comes from there, so we just gotta reinstall it. So, XML, and if we do that, we'll just run our commands again that we got from there, which command is this one, and then we can just say Python label image, and there we go. So this is what we're looking for right here. So this is where we're going to be annotating all of our images, so we're just going to open up the directory that we're going to pull the images from. So where did I put that? It was, oh, here we go, masks. Images, so it's this folder. So here we go, we can see that the images start to pop up. This is kind of a bad example, but there we go, it's a bunch of images. So once we have these images, we can start annotating them. Before we do that, I'm going to change the save directory. So the save directory I actually want to be the same place, so which is why it's okay if you want to have these folders in two different places. It's going to make it a little bit confusing. Because basically when we do the training anyways, we need the original images and the data we get together, so we might as well keep them together at the same time. So we're going to save to the same folder that we're reading from, which should be fine. So to create the images or the annotations, all you got to do is click W. You can either use W or you can use, you can click the box on the side over here. So now we have W, you can line up the arrows you have, or the little lines, and then you can just drag. And there you go, you have the box. So now over here, it's going to ask you what you want to label it as. So if you haven't done it yet, just create what you want. So we're just going to, actually, I'm going to call this one a cloth mask. So there we go. So now up here, it's saved and it's highlighted. So you just got to click Control S for save, and then you can move on to the next one. So move on to the next image, you can just click, press D. So you can use the A and D keys to move back and forth. I don't actually like this picture. I haven't gone through these images to see if they're any good or not. Uh, this one's okay. Ideally, you don't want to skip the pictures when you go through them because it might mess a few things up. So actually what I'm going to do is close this. And let's go to our images. We don't need this because I just want you guys to be able to do it also. Images, because some of these images are really bad. So you can see right here, we have the original image that we had, and then we have this data file right here, which is an XML file. So, yeah, a lot of these images are really bad. So let me clear some out for a second. Okay, so I've gone through and deleted most, if not all, the images that are bad or that we don't want. I also forgot to mention it before, but you need anywhere from 100 to 500 images per category or per object, really. So for the face masks, I have about, how many? I have 226 items in this folder, so that should be plenty for what we're doing. So now that I've reorganized this a little bit better, let's open up label image again, just to get a little bit better idea of what it looks like. Let's open the directory. So we want this one, and save directory is this one. Okay. So again, we can just start by highlighting some boxes, and we want, I don't know if it saved my masks. Let's call this, what did I call it before? Cloth mask? Yeah, this is cloth mask. So let's save it. And then, so basically, it's a lot of this. And this takes a long time to do. It's going to be tedious. It's going to be tedious progress. Also, for each image, you can have multiple boxes in each one too. So if you have, so like this one, so there's multiple masks in here, so we can highlight each one. Although these are all the same like masks, you can tell. Well, I'll do it anyways. Let's do a couple of them. And try to have, I didn't do a good job on this one, but try to keep it to as close as you can. So I'm not going to do all these right now, so I can just show you guys the steps, but I will finish going through this for the next step in the project, just so you guys can follow along with me. So it's also a good mix to have them in a good variation of locations. So this one's on someone's face, where those were just on the screen like this one. So again, you can get all those ones. We got multiple in here, so let's just grab all these. And you're not required by any means to get all of them in every photo. But you see, since these all have different patterns, it's good for the variety. So it'll start to pick up on things that are similar, like the shape and the size and like the strings that come out of them and all of that. And, there's different types of masks. So eventually I might do one where we show how you can have different types of objects. You can have multiple objects in your data set. Because right now we're only going to have it detecting for one, which is fine. So, okay, so now that we've done this, we can move on. Again, so we don't have all the images, but we have enough to work with right now. And I'll go back and do that. So you can see in here, we have the XML files to go with it. So now what we need is another file called XML to CSV. Let me pull that up here. So this is from another person on GitHub called train. I'm not exactly sure how to say it. So they have a really good XML to CSV file, and another file we're going to need. I'm sure you could use multiple of these files, or different kinds, but this is just the one that Centex uses, and people probably want to follow along with that, so that's what I'm going to use. So we do need to make a couple edits to this one, and I actually have the edits already. So it's right here. It's in the main. You basically just have to change this to work with the paths and the directories. I'm not exactly sure what the original was. The original is not quite what you need, because we're going through these two directories and we need to save them. So I'm just making sure image path. Yeah, so I have this set up for our images folder, and we're going to be saving the labels to data. So you can change this if you need to for yours. Again, you probably should if you're following along. Unless you're doing exactly like me, then it should be fine. I have the updated file somewhere else. Let me pull that up real quick. Where did I put it? Oh, it's probably right here from my own things. Yeah. So I'm going to grab both of these files right now, actually, because we'll need these. I will put these up on my GitHub, or I will link to them in the description. So we have the XML to CSV file. And now I don't believe we need any special commands. I could be wrong. I write this stuff down because I'm good at forgetting. I believe we only need to run it. So let's just do that. Where am I? I'm in label image, which is not where I need to be. I need to be in... What did I just do? Oh, oops, okay. I forget where we were working out of. Ben, And then we're in models. Yeah. Oh, no. No, we're on the desktop. Oh, gosh, I keep forgetting. Okay. I bet. Oh, I didn't need to go that far. Okay. Messing up. I'm sorry, guys. And we're in the desktop because we need masks. Now that we're in masks, we should just be able to do, I say should because you never know, XML to CSV. And there we go. So successfully converted. So if we go into data, we get our test labels and our train labels. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I missed a step. My bad. That's why I was confused about that. So inside of our images file, you should take about 10% of your images to put into test and the rest into train. So since we didn't do a ton, I'll just only put one in there. So you want to take both the image and the file that you get with it. So we'll actually take, if I could highlight them, these four, and we're just going to copy them and put them in test. And then where did it go? Up to here. So we basically want, we didn't go that far. I'll just hand get them. These. Copy those. We'll put these into train. So again, you would have a lot more images in here. Oh, but I missed this one. You'd have a lot more images and files in here, which is fine. Again, this is just for the purposes of doing it. So for you, you'd probably have all of these. So now that we have all that, we should be able to run this again. And now that we run it, it should look a lot better. So if we go into train, we can see these. So basically what this is, this gives the program the annotations that we made and those boxes we draw. So these are just coordinates on the images that we had themselves and the class that they were. So that's basically all we need to do for that. So that's nice and easy. Let's look at the notes again. So now we need to do the generate TF record, which is what the TensorFlow uses to help detect our objects. So let's look at generate TF record. So the only thing we need to change in here is the name of the model. So right here is where you would take it's for the label map, since we're making label maps right now. So what we need to do is just change this. I was doing a project with Legos before, I think because that was the object I was using, but this one we said cloth mask. Cloth mask or cloth masks? Let me make sure. You gotta make sure it's the same, otherwise it's gonna get a little wonky. Cloth mask. 1K. Cloth mask. Okay. Actually, I don't want to save it in here either, since this is not the right one. But that's all you got to change. Discard this. Let's go into here, because this is the right one I want to change. Open with PyCharm. Just change that. So this was cloth mask. And that should be that. And now there are some commands we have to run. So there's two commands we got to run. There's one for test and there's one for train. I didn't even notice which one I got. This one is for the test one. So, whoops, I accidentally pulled in not the decimal, the bullet point, whatever you call. So it's going to run that. Specified module could not be found. Oh no. Alright, so I was having some problem with the TF record, and basically I couldn't figure out exactly why Conda wasn't making it work. But by pulling it into PyCharm and just running it through here, it does work. So again, that's the reason why I recommend PyCharm, since you have the built-in terminal right here. And I'm sure there's dependencies mixed up with like the kind of Python I have. I might have different level versions of Python, which is messing it up. So if it doesn't work in one, try it in the other. So I just opened up the terminal down here. I'll run it again, actually. So this is the Python generate TF record, and this is just so these show where the data is going to go. So the labels. So let's just run that. It's going to take a second. So I'll create the TF record. So now that's in data. As you can see in here, we have train.record, which is great. And now we just need my little commands over here. We need the test one. So we're going to run that. And there we go. So now we have it up here. So that's all we're going to do for right now, since the next step we're going to be looking at getting the model that we need to train the new object detection. And I'm probably going to show how to go over on Google Colab if you don't have a GPU on your system, and I'll also be doing it on my local computer. And we're going to be going in, we're going to be training, and we're going to be testing. But for now, that's where we're at. And I'll finish getting the rest of those labels set up so I can be in the same spot as you guys. Other than that, that's going to be it for me today. If you can, leave a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you again next week. Thanks.